Hi, everyone. It's Nicole Wallace. I want to tell you about a new podcast from MSNBC called Prosecuting Donald Trump. It's hosted by MSNBC legal analysts and veteran prosecutors Andrew Weissman and Mary McCord. This week, Donald Trump became the first former president ever to be arraigned on criminal charges, pleading not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Andrew and Mary, with their combined 5 decades of prosecuting experience, help us understand how prosecutors like Alvin Bragg, Fani Willis, and Jack Smith think about building a case when the defendant happens to be a former president. Stay right here to listen to a special preview of the latest episode, and search for Prosecuting Donald Trump wherever you're listening to hear the full episode and follow the series.
The statement of the facts comes right out of the gate, framing this case really as part, I think, of the whole Donald Trump assault on democracy, right? Paragraphs 1 and 2, this was a scheme with others to influence the 2016 presidential election. The transcript of the arraignment, the assistant district attorney, Chris Conroy, same thing. He came right out of the gate telling the story of these charges and characterizing it as an illegal conspiracy to undermine the integrity of the 2016 presidential election. First of all, it's unusual in my experience at an arraignment to even sort of talk about the facts of the case or the framing of the case up front. But I think this was so important in part because it is a false business records case. And we can talk about the significance of these. These are felony charges. They're commonly used in white collar work, as the district attorney Alvin Bragg explained during the press conference. But I think it is significant for people to understand this case in the big scheme, in the overall picture of Donald Trump. 2016 tried to influence the election. 2020 tried to influence the election. Post 2020 is still trying to overturn the election, and he'll be doing this going into 2024. He's done it in multiple different ways, but there is a through line here, and we see it in this indictment. It started with these hush money payments that were done specifically to influence the outcome of the election, and at a critical time in the election too. But I don't know, Andrew, whether you had that same opinion.
Absolutely. That was my first thought, which is they really were thinking about sort of two audiences. One was at an ultimate trial, how do you get a jury to care? Is this just, as people were saying, oh, it's just hush money payments. It doesn't add anything in terms of what we know about Donald Trump. We already knew that he had that kind of history. No one was voting for him because he's a paragon of virtue. After all, there was the Access Hollywood tape and he still got elected. And what this was saying is this is actually an election fraud case. And that scheme happened to trip over these crimes, which is filing false business records. But it was really sort of why you should care. And I think the second audience was the public, trying to educate the public as to why the former president of the United States, for the first time in history, is being charged.
Thanks for listening to this special preview of Prosecuting Donald Trump. Search for Prosecuting Donald Trump wherever you're listening to hear the full episode and follow the series.